What you have to decide is whether you're going to continue to do the work for someone else, or you're going to take that step and you're going to do the work for yourself. Go do the work. The work all has to be done. It's going to be done at the end of the day, or shit doesn't work. So, what you have to decide is whether you're going to continue to do the work for someone else, or you're going to take that step and you're going to do the work for yourself. If you're going to continue to work for someone else, someplace else, someone else, how do you get more for it? Well, you have to give a lot more to get more. With progress comes reward. Do you have that in you? Or are you going to make that cut and you're going to go do it on your own and take the chance of failing miserable or reaping all of the rewards? I had a delivery job. The best thing that ever happened to me was getting fired from my jobs, because my jobs were comfort. I had $3,500 a month I was making for working 4 to 6 hours a night. And then on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, in the middle of the night, I'd work 2-3 hours also. I was delivering newspapers for Wall Street Journal, Investors Business Daily, and New York Times. So all the routes were in the same area. They overlapped. I would listen to Art Bell, Coast to Coast, in the middle of the night. And then I'd go home and sleep all day, get up and do some sewing and piddle around with my hobby job. But I would take time off on the weekends, get somebody to cover me every time. It was never an issue, but I was eventually fired for taking too much time off. And it was always on weekends, and it was just once a month or so when there was a gun show. But eventually they fired me. And I knew in my head the potential was really there to make the money, and I needed to do that. And I just was holding on to that out of fear or comfort, or just $3,500, it was 30 years ago almost, and $3,500 for a kid, a shithead kid, was really a lot of money at the time, especially, living at mom's house, driving girlfriends' cars around, having no responsibility, and $3,500 really just to blow on whatever I wanted to blow it on. But when I lost that job, it became real. I knew I could make money doing the gear and sewing, but I had no choice now but to do that. And we've got a girl, Olivia, who comments on a lot of our videos. She does sewing also. She does horse tack and bridles and stuff. I think they're bridles. That's what goes over the head. And she had said earlier, that, at what point do I make that cut where she's working 60, 70 hours a week every day taking care of horses on this horse property, and I believe she lived in a trailer there and did her sewing stuff on the side. And she said she went to them and asked if she could just reduce her hours a little bit, and they got very mad at her and told her to get off the property. Well, she said, that I'm going to go ahead and just give my 2 weeks notice. And that turned into, you have fucking 3 hours to get all your shit and get off of this fucking property. Well, then that's obviously, you don't need to be there if that's how that's going. If there's no more financial gain for the time that you're putting in, if you're getting paid for 40 hours a week, but you're doing 70 hours of work. And what I'd asked her was, I said, how much work, how many pieces of gear do you have to make? I said, how much do you make? How much was your check weekly? Was it $300? Was it $500? I don't know what the number is. But let's say she was making $500 a week, which that's probably not what it was. But let's say she's making $500 a week, $2,000 a month. At $500 a week, that you are now not working 70 hours, how many pieces of gear do you have to sew and make and sell to make that $500 a week? Let's say they're $100 pieces. I don't think they are. Let's say it's 100. That's 5 pieces. And let's say it takes her an hour to make each piece. There's her $500 in 5 hours. She now has an extra 65 hours over here to make another however many she's going to make, or have some time to actually go enjoy riding horses, or take her product to some trade shows, or go around to other stables, preferably where there's really rich people, because it's perception of value. I've always said I can take a dog collar from Walmart that's $5 and I can bedazzle it. I can put contrasting thread in it, or I could literally get a bedazzler, and push fucking things through and cap them and put little fake rhinestones and Swarovski crystals. I could take a $5 dog collar and put $15 of embellishments on it. So now I'm in it for $20. I have a $20 dog collar, I might be able to sell locally around to people that are buying $5 dog collars for 30, 40 bucks, have a $5, $10 profit margin. But it's perception of value. Rich people all have pets. Rich people tend to have fewer kids, but they have dogs. Gay people are a huge, huge demographic for the pet industry. Anytime you look at the pet numbers, pet industry is only on par. It's below death, it's below religion, and it's below sex, toys, trade, whatever. Pets come in at number 4, and it's billions and billions and billions of dollars because everybody loves their pets as other children for the most part. So perception of value, where do you have a lot of people that have pets with money that they will spend? I can take that same collar, let's say for instance, to Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive. I'm going to go local up there. I'm going to find some pet shops, and I'm going to try to place my shit in there on consignment. On consignment, I'm going to get a higher profit margin than if they buy it outright. And we're going to kind of test those waters around there, but we're going to put those collars in there that we could sell locally, let's say where I was in San Diego, for 35 bucks. I'm going to put them in the pet shops, the high-end pet shops, and we've all seen them. You've got Petco and PetSmart, and those are just the stores, and then you have Walmart also sells dog collars and, food and shit. But you've got those malls where the Starbucks is and the boutiques and shit, and there's a pet shop in there, and they sell holistic, natural, non-GMO pet food. It's amazing. I saw one in Memphis this last week I was in Memphis a few days, and we were driving through multi-million dollar homes, beautiful estates, and the businesses around there, and there was a whole strip mall that was all pet stuff. It was pet massage, it was pet grooming, it was veterinarians, it was a pet food store, it was a pet shop, someplace like that. And I'm going to try to put my collars in there at $100 because I have taken a $5 collar and put $15 of bullshit on it. It's perception of value, the same way I buy electronics. If you haven't been to a very high-end electronics store, let's say we want to go buy a DVD player. I say this because DVD players are now this big. I don't even know if you can buy a DVD player at this point anymore. But step back 10, 15 years ago, a DVD player when it came out was $200. And then as they became more common, they were $79. Well, I would go into, let's say, Mad Jack's, Tweeter, Best Buy has some higher end. Some of them, I forget what they call them, but there's a room in the back that has higher end electronics and audio entertainment stuff. I would go in to buy a DVD player simply to watch a DVD. That's all I want to do is view it. But you would go to Walmart and they'd have a $35 DVD player. And I'm like, what do you get for $50? Well, you go from Emerson or whatever to Samsung or Sony. I think there's something better. Let's go to an actual electronics store. So let's say we go to Best Buy now. I don't know if Circuit City's even in business anymore. So we go to Best Buy and you look out on the big floor and they've got $35, $45, $65, $120, $200 DVD players. What do you get for that money? I don't know, but it has some lights that blink and it looks cool sitting in my rack. We don't even have rack systems anymore. I have a Bello entertainment system from Italy. It's a Bello Entertainment rack. I bought it years ago at maybe Circuit City in San Diego. And it's beautiful. It's 2 towers, 8 shelves, green glass. It's curved wood on the front. And then I've got the big stand in the middle that held at the time, maybe a 43, maybe a 50-inch television because there was no 80-inch TVs. I have an 80-something inch TV upstairs there that I've sat in front of twice. I don't watch any of this shit. There is no rack system anymore. We used to like that. We'd have the power management system, and then we'd have the piece in case your shit got struck by lightning. And then you had your DVD player and your VCR player, and you had your amplifier, and you had your tape deck, and you had your dual tape deck, and your CD player. That's gone. It's all in this now. Little tiny computers do all that shit. We don't have to have any of that shit. It's all obsolete. I now find myself with 10 more feet of wall space. It's perception of value. I would go to buy a DVD player simply to watch a DVD, which should have been a $35 DVD player, but I would buy the $250 one because it had more lights and blinking whistles and it was in the special section. It's all marketing. How do we market? It's perception of value. Do you want to sell 100 pieces at $5, or do you want to sell 5 pieces at $100? The outcome is the same, lower volume, higher value. What is your time worth? If you can take how much work you do, charge twice as much, thus cutting your work in half, at the end of the day, the outcome is the same. You can better service that customer. So, Olivia, what I'd asked was, with the hours you lost, what was that check? And how many pieces do you have to make that amount? And what she replied was, I'm already making more doing my side thing. I understand that. How much more can you do? It's not about that. You're now back at home with mom or dad or whoever, and you left there for some reason, I assume. So you're now constricted back. I believe you're 18, 19, 20 years old maybe. But living back with mom, that's probably going to suck for a little bit. I did it. When I came home from prison, I lived back with mom, and mom was really, to business, my biggest hindrance. I had to step out of there to make it work on the next level. So what was that check number? 500, 300, 700, what was that? How many pieces? But whatever it is, however many pieces it is, it's going to be a lot less time than that 70 hours you were working and only getting paid 40, and you said some weeks it was actually 80 hours. I'm going off of memory here. I just glanced over it on my phone when I was getting ready to get in the shower. What's the answer? The answer is they did the hard part for you. You just stepped to the side. They fired you rather than you quitting, and you kind of did quit, so whatever. The outcome is the same. Take a breath, regroup, make some money, put your money back into your business. Do not be in a hurry to leave mom's house, whatever you have to do. Even if it's just mom's house is a place to sleep. Don't worry about boys. That was my biggest hindrance, my biggest setback through my whole life. The reason I can make millions instead of billions right now was pussy. It's fun. It was always I fucked 10 chicks yesterday. Can I get 20 next week? Can I, whatever it is. But what do you have to show for that? Because in the end, the chick I should have been with all along is here right now and was there back then. So had I just done that, where would we really be right now? So I have a new guy working here, and he's looked at several houses, and he's about to take this 3-bedroom house, and he's like, it needs painted. I go, you're looking at this shit all wrong. Why the fuck are you going to paint the house? He's like, well, it just needs paint. I go, you're looking at this all wrong. Your focus needs to be that I'm working, and that is a place to sleep. And when you're not working, work on you, and that doesn't happen at home. Whether it's computer, side business, fitness, whatever that is, you need to look at that as it's a place to sleep for 6 months until I find a better place. That's how everything should be. Because I did that when we moved here. I rented a house in a place called Cedar Lakes Estates. It's nice, 2 private lakes. It was the biggest houses around here, the only planned community kind of. 1.5 acre, 2 acre lots. I had a basement that was 2,000 square feet. The house was probably 2,500 square feet. The garage was 2.5 cars. Neat place. But I was comfortable. And we lived there for 10 years and didn't do anything different. So you're back home now. Use that. That is simply a place to sleep. So if you need to rent a building, rent a storage unit, whatever it is to set your shop up in, that should be what you do. And put your money into another machine and put your money into machines that will make you go faster. What's our biggest bottleneck? Our biggest bottleneck right now is labor. And manpower is always your biggest frustration in any business, is human, is your only problem. We need a laser machine or an auto cutter. I know that. I've got dudes tracing patterns, cutting patterns, and marking. What it takes 4 dudes to do, if I have a machine, the machine, once it's programmed, does all that shit. It cuts it, it burns it, it marks it, it drills it, it puts different color markers on it to show my sewers where to sew it. It takes the human error out. So when I got a dude that fucking strolls in here 15 minutes late on Monday, fucking drunk, and you can smell the fucking alcohol in his cup, that dude doesn't work here anymore. Like, we tolerated that shit for years. He's gone. The machine doesn't get drunk. The machine doesn't fucking have a bad day. The machine doesn't have baby's mama fucking crazy shit going on. Put your money into equipment that's going to make you money. Get you a leather brand. Fucking step up your embellishment, step up your branding, step up your packaging. Fuck, we've been doing this 30 years. We still don't have packaging because I don't have to. But really, it would take us to the next level. Packaging, fucking interaction with customer. Just put your time into that, Olivia. You've got this. You know you fucking have this. You knew you had it fucking 6 months ago when we started talking about it. Somebody made you do the hard part. The thing that is hard in life, the thing that you know you need to do that you don't want to do, the second you fucking do it, it's like a weight coming off of you. Whether it's firing somebody you don't want to fire or whatever it is, as soon as you do that, you're like, fuck, man, why did I wait so long? I always use the example of, I used to go, people would come in and they're like, hey, do you take credit cards? I'm like, fuck no, we don't take credit cards. You want my shit, you're going to pay me cash. Like for years, you had to pay me in cash. You couldn't even send me a check. I wouldn't even fucking take a check to the bank. We finally started taking credit cards. We had to get approval, and it was a credit check, and we had to buy a fucking machine. It was a big deal back when fax machines went and fucking curled out on thermal paper, right? When we started taking checks, we doubled our sales that month. The easier you make it for the customer, the more money they're going to give you. And it's just, remember, it's perception of value. Put all your time into your product. Put all your time into you. Don't worry about things right now. I'm telling you as a dude that owns fucking $30,000, $40,000, $45,000 watches. I like all that shit. I don't have one on right now. And when you're growing, you need money to grow. And the more money you have, it's exponential. Put all your money into your business. Focus on your business right now. Don't worry about a fucking boyfriend. Don't worry about anything else other than business right now. And in 5 years, you'll be where we are right now after 30 years. Like you have to take that time. You hear Andy Frisella talk about sleeping on a piss-stained mattress. Dude's told me for years I should listen to this guy because he's saying shit that I did. Like I slept in my floor in my shop. I drove my fucking Blazer that got 10 miles an hour that had one of the tires wasn't even the same size as the three. I rented a shop 30 minutes away because Dwayne talked me into it from Strider Knives. We're going to split this building, which became he's going to take a little piece of a closet and I'm going to pay for all the rest of the building and the electricity and all that shit. I drove to the shop many times and slept on the floor in the shop because I didn't have gas money to go home 32 miles away to San Diego. But those were some of the best days of, like, those were the fond memories they're not the best days of my life. I shouldn't say it like that, but that's the shit we talk about. That's the foundation, the shit you went through, eating fucking MREs that we traded gear for because we didn't have food to fucking eat. And your boys would come hang out and you'd sew and you'd fucking hose off in the back at the shop because there was no fucking shower there. And you'd sleep on the floor. We did that shit. It would hurt to do it now. I mean, I'm fucking 50 years old. Do it while you're young. Put the time in. Save the money. Grow the business. You're going to be amazed what you can do. Like and with the internet the way it is now, like we had to go find things and have them made. Now you just ask questions and people tell you where to go. Like you have such an advantage right now. Step your product up. Step the quality of materials up. Go to some trade shows. Fuck, I've never been like in a real sew factory. Look at the things we do and the perception people have of the company and where we kind of are status-wise in the business. I've never even been in a real sew factory. I don't even know what that looks like, yet we're able to do what we do. I've never been to a trade show, and there's many of them for materials and machines and all that shit. Imagine what we could do this year if we just went and learned some new things. It's all there. You have advantages we didn't have. We had to create the industry. You just stepped into it. Focus on your business. Don't worry about fucking spending money. Everything goes back into business right now. You're going to be amazed what you're about to do. That's it.